Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of War Machines. So, last time we completed semifinal I, where contender number 9 officially achieved their goals of getting to the grand final, winning 3 fights and 3 hard-fought matchups in order to get to that point. So now we start Heat J. 12 more robots are going to officially make their debut and look to provide that first impression or in order to show that they have what it takes to potentially make it all the way to the grand final and potentially win the whole thing. This should be a fun night because we've got several more hard hitters and awesome control bots coming in this episode. So let's go ahead and introduce the robots in Heat J. And here they are. So to lead it off, we start off with a rookie bot, a rookie hammer bot made by the same team behind Shatter, BattleBot's contender that's pretty well known, as Blue will be debuting in War Machines officially with that hammer. Then right down below, a pretty well-known robot in the field of War Machines, we have Daedalus, a top 16 finalist last season, not to mention the number 2 seed in the bracket. So this robot will be looking to showcase the power of that horizontal spinner here in their 3rd season of this series. Then down below we have Double Jeopardy, back for their 3rd season, the most unique robot in this group probably, weapon-wise, as they'll be bringing that cannon back and looking to crush the competition. Then down below we have Dragon King, the dual saws robot, also got tread-like movement. That robot should be a lot of fun. Then down below we got Ghostly Float, the full body spinner from King of Bots, making their official War Machines debut. Then we have another full body spinner down below to close out this half, this time from BattleBots, and it's Gigabyte, who is back for their 3rd season and looking to tear apart the competition. Then to start the second half, we have Gruff, who's also back for their 3rd season, bringing back that powerful lifter and those 2 effective flamethrowers. Then down below we have Mastiff, one of the only Robot Wars contenders, at least in this part of the competition, bringing that insane flipper and that adorable front. Then the last one for this quadrant, we have Monster, coming in with that powerful flipper from King of Bots, looking to control the competition. Then next up, for the last quadrant, we have Ribot, who is returning for their 3rd season of this series with a whole new design, not to mention, like in BattleBots, they actually have 2 configurations this year. They'll be looking to use that to their advantage and tear apart the competition. Then down below we have Ripperoni, coming in with that large vertical spinner and that flywheel to counter their gyroscopic forces, as they'll be looking to dismantle the competitions in their official debut for this competition. Then last but not least, we have another robot making its debut. We have Starchild, who's also a very unique robot here. They'll be looking to use that overhead spinner to wipe the floor with the competition. So yeah, we got an awesome group of robots, 12 robots that are certainly hard hitters or big-time control bots. This is going to be fun. Hard to tell who's going to claim that spot in this season's grand final. And I imagine regardless of who wins this, the last chance section is going to have some pretty beefy names in it too. So this is going to be fun. Let's go ahead and get to the opening round and start talking about our first fight of the episode. So for our first matchup of the episode, we have a battle between Ribot and Ripperoni, 2 fellow BattleBots contenders. On the left side, we have Ribot, who is in there for their 3rd season of this series. Haven't had the strongest run in those seasons so far because they have only a 2-2 record, but don't underestimate this frog, especially this year, where that robot went through a complete redesign, and now they have configurations. Whereas they had only the vertical spinner last time, they now can choose between a similar vertical spinner-like design or an undercutter design, like you're seeing in the image right here. So Ribot can catch their opponents by surprise by choosing whatever configuration they decide to go with. Then on the other side, we have Ripperoni, who is not a Swiss Army bot like Ribot is, but definitely another one you do not want to underestimate. Ripperoni is debuting that nasty vertical spinner in that flywheel spinner design, and yeah, that one should be pretty interesting. So both robots with similar strengths and weaknesses. Both of them have a pretty nasty spinner, and they both have exposed wheels. So I think whoever is the one that can expose that first between the 2 robots is probably going to be the one to come out on top in this fight. And yeah, so I think this could come down to what configuration Ribot goes with and who can take advantage of the other's weaknesses first. I have heard in the pits, though, that Ribot is planning on bringing out the vertical spinner for this fight. Looks like they're going to try to use the set of forks that Ribot has with that vertical spinner configuration to counter Ripperoni's ground game, knock them off balance, and then just attack those exposed sides and those exposed wheels. Well, Ripperoni's probably going to go for the same thing. So I'm very excited for this fight. Hopefully you are as well. So I think it is time to go ahead and get to this fight. Time for this match to begin. So yeah, as originally speculated, Ribot has gone with the vertical spinner for this one, which has a nice set of forks up front, where they'll be looking to challenge Ripperoni at the ground game. As we're seeing so far, Ribot getting underneath Ripperoni to start this one off. However, they took some fork damage, and it's shots right there from Ripperoni. Ripperoni found an opportunity, they found an edge, and they took it right there. And they just sent Ribot on a couple backflips. And now they're attacking the exposed areas, trying to go for some of those wheels. Looks like they're getting the first layer of some of those wheels. Ribot still has them. That's still major damage for sure. Ripperoni is on top, knocked Ribot off balance, and now just going for those exposed areas, doing exactly what they planned so far. Ribot just not being given an inch right now. They are invertible, but the robot is way less effective while upside down. And now Ripperoni is taking off a whole wheel. Now Ribot down to 3 wheels left. Now Ribot taking Ripperoni into the corner. But then Ripperoni gets out of there. Knocks off another wheel. It's like they found another opening and caught an edge right there. Excellent job from Ripperoni so far, who is absolutely pulverizing this frog. I wonder if Ribot might have made the wrong choice. I wonder if they should have gone with the undercutter or something in this match, because Ripperoni's just been all over this frog so far, just not giving Ribot an inch. Ribot has lost a 3rd wheel, and it is now just getting pulverized time and time again. This robot is taking such a beating right now. Halfway through this fight, safe to say that the rookie bot is on top here. Ribot needs to do something big to turn this fight around. That's going to be difficult because they are inverted, they have 1 wheel, and there's a lot of smoke erupting from that robot. Forget that, they have no wheels now. Knockout! So that's that. What a debut for the flywheel vertical spinner of Ripperoni. Shows that flywheel tech does work in that robot, because that robot was fast, it was maneuverable, and we were seeing signs. Those signs of no gyroscopic forces happening within that robot, which has plundered for many teams across the season so far. So Ripperoni did a great job finding edges to catch on Ribot, knocking Ribot off balance, and then just start picking apart that frog. They destroyed that fork setup, they got through those wheels one by one, and then eventually got to the internals and officially KO'd that frog. I almost wonder what would have happened. Would we have seen any sort of differences if Ribot had gone with the undercutter instead? Who knows? We'll see Ribot in the Redemption Rumble. Let's move on to fight number 2. So for fight number 2, we got a battle between Daedalus and Dragon King. So on the left side we have Daedalus, who is definitely one of the most hyped robots, at least in this group, because this robot has had 2 very strong seasons so far in this series. Not to mention, last season, they were the number 2 seed in the bracket and made a top 16 run through the power of that horizontal spin. Their opponent will be Dragon King, who has 2 saws and a pretty effective grabber right there. They'll be looking to grab a hold of Daedalus probably after they box rush Daedalus. Grab a hold of them and then drop those saws onto the top of Daedalus and hope to do some damage. Daedalus doesn't have a lot of armor on top, so gotta imagine it won't take a lot for Dragon King to slice through that top plate and then get to some of those exposed internals in order to get to win this fight. So yeah, I expect this is going to be a pretty fun fight. I expect either Daedalus is going to cause a battery fire in Daedalus, or if Daedalus can avoid the box rush and keep that horizontal spin at full speed, they could absolutely make a smoothie out of Dragon King. I think this will be a fun fight regardless. I don't see this fight going the full 3 minutes based on the power of these 2 robots, and so I think we should go ahead and get to this fight. Time for this match to begin. Daedalus gains experiential speed. Dragon King charging right in there. But Daedalus manages to get away, find an opening, and they are now chewing apart the sides of Dragon King, and Dragon King lost part of a tread. Dragon King already on the losing end of that horizontal spinner. They lost the rest of that side of treads. Already, not even 30 seconds into this fight, Dragon King has lost half of their mobility. They still have 2 treads and those deadly saws. Well, one of them now. So they are still in this fight, but gotta imagine they gotta be cautious. A couple of nice shots at the top of Daedalus from that one remaining saw. But how much has losing those treads hindered that robot so far? I see they lost half of that other side treads. I didn't notice that, and there goes the rest of it. Daedalus just completely dismantled the entire tread system, and there goes the control board. What a quick KO right there from the former top 16 finalist. The number 2 ranked robot from last season, definitely showing that this is a giant revenge tour from last time. That's Daedalus lost by getting high centered to the apprentice last time around. They were looking to rebound on that. And this was a good way of showing that this is still a very powerful foe and one to watch out for. So, what a destructive victory by Daedalus. Definitely this was a huge statement victory for the veteran, and I wouldn't want to be the person who's going to be taking on Daedalus next. We'll move on. We'll see Dragon King and the Redemption Rebels. So next up, we have a battle between 2 rookie bots, 2 non-battle bots as well. We have the Hammer bot of Blue, who is going to be taking on the Flipper of Mastiff. So on the left side, we got Blue, which is a Hammer bot, very similar design to Shatter, including it was made by the same team from BattleBots. So Shatter was well known for having Omni wheels and an effective hammer, and definitely this robot is no difference. Not to mention they got that very thick wedge right on the front, which should give them some very effective armor to deal with spinner bots. However, they are not up against a spinner this time around. They are taking on Mastiff, who is a flipper bot for robot wars. Mastiff will be looking to get that flipper underneath Blue and launch them into the air and hope that'll limit the number of hammer shots they can take from Blue's hammer. So, yeah, we know Blue's strategy is going to be to hit Mastiff as many times as that hammer, because eventually they'll have to hit something. Eventually they'll hit something important. That's probably what Blue is going to be going for here. Well, Mastiff is looking to keep Blue off balance and avoid taking as many hammer shots as possible. So, yeah, this should be a pretty fun tactical fight between these 2 robots. Should be a fun debut for both of these robots. I imagine one of them is going to make a huge statement for themselves for the semifinal. So, yeah, I think this will be an awesome fight, and let's go ahead and get right to it. Time for this match to begin. Both bots eyeing each other out. Blue lands their first hammer shot, and Mastiff lands their first flip. So, good start right there for Blue, who's now underneath Mastiff, lands a couple of hammer shots. Mastiff a little bit upended, and now Blue takes him into the corner, lands a couple nice hammer shots to both the top and the underside. Both areas that Blue probably wants to target. Another nice hammer shot right there. And a couple swings and misses, like those couple right there, as Mastiff self-rights. So, nice hammer shot from Blue, and Mastiff flipping Blue once again, and looking to take Blue around, crowd them around. Nice hammer shot, but Mastiff knocks him off balance again with that flipper, and now they have Blue in the corner with that flipper. This is exactly what Mastiff wants for sure. An opportunity to where they can launch Blue into the air and avoid that hammer. Nice hammer shot from Blue in response there once they found some breathing room. Great start from both of these robots. Blue and Mastiff have both had quite a few excellent moments so far in this match. What a matchup so far that we are seeing from both of these robots as we approach the halfway point. Couple of nice hammer shots and a little lift from Mastiff. Not seeing the kind of power as we've seen before earlier in the match, so I wonder if that flipper might have been damaged in the process or something. So, yeah, right back we go here between these 2 robots. What a stalemate these 2 have when it comes to the ground game that we've seen so far. Nice flip from Mastiff. Maybe I was just imagining things when I was concerned about the flipper power or something, but Yeah, Mastiff tried to get a pin and ended up flipping itself in the process. Nice shot from Blue, and now Mastiff at the sides, and nice flip right there. That, in my opinion, has been the best moment of the match so far, and we are approaching the 1 minute mark in this fight. And what a fight this has been so far. Couple nice hammer shots from Blue right there, looking to come in for a strike, and Mastiff upended. They run self-right, but they lost a chunk of that flipper. Looks like they lost the flipper tongue. It's like the tongue of the puppy right there. Dog lost its tongue or something? I don't know how to say it, but Mastiff has taken the first major piece of damage so far. And yeah, but they're still in it for sure. So nice shot from Blue, but then Mastiff now has Blue upended. So yeah, there we go. And now a couple nice flips right there from Mastiff once again. So Blue finds some breathing room, and they're right back on the attack, striking the rest of that flipper right there. And yeah, what a fight this has been between these two absolute titans. 10 seconds left to go between these two robots. What an awesome debut it has been for honestly both of these robots as we take this fight to the judges. Bravo to these two contenders on such an awesome debut between these two robots. This was a very back and forth fight and going to be a very difficult one to call. Blue had several great moments where they managed to get Mastiff upended, resulting in them landing tons of hammer shots, but Mastiff had several opportunities of their own where they were able to launch Blue into the air, use that flipper to keep Blue off balance, and keep him in a position to where Blue wasn't able to use their hammer effectively on Mastiff. So, yeah, and then this flip right here, I think was the biggest moment of the match, in my opinion. This was really the one piece of damage right here. Mastiff losing that flipper tongue. But this was an awesome, really back and forth fight. Could be interesting to see how the judges score this one. And speaking of the judges, I hear their scorecards are in. So let's find out who's going to be advancing to the next episode's semifinal. Okay, so the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Blue! So yeah, pretty close judges' decision between these two. I'm guessing it might have been the damage of the flipper tongue that might have favored Blue in this fight. Because this was a very close, very back and forth fight between these two robots, and certainly was a difficult one for the judges to call, because it was probably about split on almost everything within the judging criteria for this season. Great fight though. We'll see Blue in the next episode's semifinal. We'll see Mastiff in the Redemption Rumble, but gotta imagine that with how well they performed here, Mastiff could potentially be a favorite to win that Rumble. We could absolutely see Mastiff winning a spot into their... We could absolutely see Mastiff winning a spot into the semifinal later this episode. Let's move on to the next fight. So for our next matchup, we have two more rookie contenders. We have a battle between Monster and Starchild. So on the left side, we have Monster, a flipper bot from King of Bots. That flipper is definitely not one to be underestimated, because that flipper has a lot of power in this thing. However, though, that robot does struggle to self-right if they were to get inverted, so that's going to be something to watch out for. I don't think that could be too much of a worry, because their opponent is Starchild, who's not really known for flipping many robots over. So Starchild, one of the more unique designs here in this group, where Starchild, combination of Sawblaze and Huge, where they have that tall robot with big wheels, and then they have that overhead spinner that will strike the top and all those other exposed areas on top of the robot. So Monster will be looking to try to avoid taking contact from that spinner as much as possible, not allow Starchild to do as much damage as they can, and use that flipper to just keep Starchild off balance. Starchild has had some control issues within this game, so that's something Monster will want to try to take advantage of here before Starchild can get too many damaging shots in. So yeah, I think this would be an exciting fight between two robots who should have an awesome debut coming, and I think we should go ahead and get to this match. Time for this match to begin. Both bots quickly meet in the middle, and Monster lands a decent shot, and Starchild did a somersault in the air. So here comes Monster, who has Starchild in the corner. Watch out for that spinner, though. And I see they've already lost part of the flipper tongue is Monster. So they gotta keep an eye out for that spinner, because that spinner is definitely not one to underestimate. And Monster want to avoid taking as much damage as possible. So they took more damage to that flipper tongue. Haven't really seen a lot of accurate swing. One of the weaknesses with Starchild is the fact that that spinner can be a little difficult to control. So we've kind of seen that already so far in this match. Starchild leading with the spinner right now, going from some attacks, and they just ripped off a lot of the head of Monster. Monster has taken a severe amount of damage right there. It might have been better for Starchild to just lead with the spinner at least, because they've torn apart most of that flipper, and they just decapitated Monster. A lot of damage right there, and nice shot! So we finally got to see them actually swing and land a shot right to the top, and Monster is on control board right now. They gotta be very careful. They do not want to take any more hits from that spinner. That is for sure. So Monster is wounded right now from that attack, because it looks like they are having drive problems because of it. They're hanging in there pretty well, and swinging a miss right there from Starchild is leaning in there with the spinner once again, and nearly got the shots they needed. And there they go with a swing and a hit, and they took out the control board. What a debut from Starchild. It wasn't perfect because it looked like they were having quite a lot of control issues when it came to that robot, but then it all's well that ended well for that robot, because they got the win. They managed to get the shots they needed in with that spinner, and they managed to cause a huge amount of damage. Their opponents are definitely going to want to watch out for that black bot right there, because that spinner is proven in this fight to be deadly. Took apart Monster piece by piece, ripping apart that flipper, taking off the head, disabling the drive of Monster. So Starchild's definitely going to be a robot to watch, and it'll be interesting to see how their next few opponents decide to fight this robot. And all that fun stuff. So yeah, great victory by Starchild. We'll see Monster in the Redemption Rumbles. So next up, we have a highlighted match between Double Jeopardy and Ghostly Float. Let's go ahead and quick check out and find out how that matchup went. So coming into this matchup, we got Double Jeopardy with their powerful drivetrain, that cannon, taking on the full body spinner of Ghostly Float. Double Jeopardy wanted to keep their distance and just keep firing that cannon into their opponents, but Ghostly Float managed to get several shots in. But it was learned that Ghostly Float's spinner just didn't have the bite to be able to do much to Double Jeopardy. Double Jeopardy was able to easily box rush them, get several pins in this match, and land who knows how many cannon shots in this match. So the judges definitely liked the control that Double Jeopardy showed, so Double Jeopardy went on to win a judge's decision and a spot in the semifinals. We'll see Ghostly Float in the Redemption Rumbles. So for our last matchup of the opening round, we have a battle between two fellow BattleBots contenders who are both in their third season of this series. We have Gigabyte and Gruff. So both of these robots, similar designs to what they had in previous seasons. It's just they both went through design upgrades, upgrading about everything upon these two robots to make sure that Gigabyte hits harder than ever, and Gruff is able to tank shots harder than ever, and show that flamethrower is certainly something to watch for sure. So yeah, so coming into this match, Gigabyte on the left side bring back that full body spinner. They didn't do so well in the first season of War Machines, but they had definitely had a bounce back season, getting quite a few top-notch victories before dropping one to Black Dragon in the tournament that year. Whereas Gruff, they have not had the strongest season so far. So they did alright in the first season of War Machines, but then last season they went 0-2, losing their opening round matchup, getting a wild card, and then losing that next matchup in the first round. So Gruff, I think, has a lot to show here, to show that they have what it takes to potentially win this whole thing. So, and the first one is definitely going to be showing they can take it to Gigabyte. So yeah, coming into this matchup then, Gigabyte is probably going to try to get that full body spinner to full speed, dodge any box rush attempt that Gruff throws at it, and then just land as many shots as they can to dismantle Gruff. Well, Gruff's probably going to try to box rush them, potentially get a clamp in with those lifters, and then just torch Gigabyte with those flamethrowers. That will probably be Boltbot's best path to victory, and I think whoever is the one that can emphasize upon that more is probably going to be the one to win this match. So this should be a pretty exciting battle between two awesome BattleBot contenders, so I think we should go ahead and get to this fight. Time for this match to begin. Gigabyte getting that full body spin to speed, Gruff getting those flamethrowers going, and Gigabyte landing a couple early shots to the front and the sides of Gruff. So that's what Gigabyte's probably looking for here. One thing Gigabyte does not want to do is get sent out of control and get sent into the arena, because I think the arena rails are probably Gigabyte's biggest enemy. It's a case where Gigabyte will lose control and could potentially damage themselves. A couple nice shots there from Gigabyte. I see that Gruff has already taken some lifter damage. They lost one of those forks, but it looks like Gruff is inviting lots of these shots. I think what they're trying to go for is using that face of that robot, use the tankiness that Gruff is so well known for to tank the shots that Gigabyte lands and knock Gigabyte off balance. Huge shot right there that sent both bots flying. Both bots up and still running perfectly after that. Gigabyte ricocheting across the arena, though. That's kind of what Gruff is looking for, what Gruff seems to be going for, but they've taken a lot of punishment in the process, and Gigabyte still seems to be functioning just fine. A couple more shots to the walls from Gigabyte. Gruff has definitely taken a beating so far. We need to see more from that robot. The flamethrowers are trying to get some action in, but most of all, it just seems to be Gigabyte doing stuff with that full body spinner. Good pop-up right there from Gruff, likely from Gigabyte hitting the frame of that robot. And Gruff is doing a good job semi-dictating the pace and getting some good control moments in. We haven't seen much action from that lifter nor those flamethrowers, at least. They don't seem to have that much effect. But Gruff has been tanking the shots very well regardless. Little less than halfway through this match, or a little bit more than halfway through this match, and hard to tell, because I'd say Gigabyte has definitely done a lot more damage. I'd say Gruff has been a bit more aggressive and done a good job getting some control moments in. So I'd say it's still anyone's game, and this last minute is definitely going to determine the outcome of this match for sure. So, a couple nice shots right to the front by Gigabyte, and here we go again. So, Gruff continuing to invite action from Gigabyte's full body spinner. They might want to do a better job box rushing here, because I think if they can get a pin on Gigabyte, slow down that full body spinner, and start torching them with those flamethrowers, that'd be a huge moment for them if this fight was to go to the judges. So yeah, we're around the 30-second mark here. Gigabyte landing a couple more nice shots. Looks like that lifter has been pretty much irrelevant as it's been destroyed by Gigabyte. Those flamethrowers getting some action, but not a lot has worked out. Gigabyte ricocheting again across the arena. That's something that's going to really hurt Gigabyte in the judges' scorecard, because it is looking like we are about to have a judges' decision once again tonight. And what a fight this was between these two BattleBot contenders. Great match between these two. So yeah, how are the judges going to call this one exactly? So I'd say Gigabyte definitely did a lot more damage between the two of them, but then Gruff was quite a bit more aggressive and dictated the pace of the fight. So Gruff did a good job of knocking Gigabyte off balance, sending them out of control, and then we had that big hit that sent both bots flying. Gruff did a great job tanking the shots, but gotta mention though that one of the categories is weapon effectiveness here. While Gruff did a great job tanking the shots from Gigabyte, they didn't really use the lifter, and those flamethrowers were pretty well irrelevant. So while I think Gruff won control and aggression, Gigabyte definitely won damage and weapon effectiveness. So I think this is going to be a closer judge's decision than a lot of people might imagine. Let's go ahead and hear the results of the decision. So the judges' votes are in, and we have a split decision. The winner is Gigabyte. Yeah, so I definitely think, like, lots of the points I brought up there, while Gruff definitely did a great job controlling the match and dictating the pace of a lot of the fight, I think definitely the lack of lifter and flamethrower use really hurt it here and Gigabyte was able to do just enough in like the aggression and control categories to swing control of this match. Not surprised at all that this was a split decision for sure, because Gruff did do a really good job of staying aggressive and getting quite a few good control moments in this match. So credit to both of these robots. We'll see Gigabyte in next episode's semifinal. We'll see Gruff in the Redemption Rumbles. And surely enough, Gruff is definitely going to be a difficult foe to take on. So excited to see what Gruff is able to do there. Anyway, awesome fight between these two once again. Let's move on to our first Redemption Rumble of the episode. Speaking of Gruff, they are in our first Redemption Rumble, and they are taking on two Flipper bots in Mastiff and Monster, where those three are going to fight it out for a spot in next episode's semifinal. So, on one end, we got Gruff to lead it off, who just lost a very close split decision to Gigabyte. Then in the middle, we got Mastiff, who lost also in a very close judge's decision. That one is unanimous to blue. And then we got Monster, who fell victim to Starchild's deadly spinner, where Starchild wiped them out. So what's this going to come down to here? So we got three robots, all with very similar styles of attack. All three of these robots are probably going to try to get underneath the other and just launch them. Just try to control as much of the fight as they can. Because I suspect whoever is the one to the best ground game of the three and dictate the pace of the match is probably going to be the one to come out on top. And I think all three of them have the potential to do that. And how is Gruff going to get those flamethrowers involved, potentially? I think Gruff has the best chance of being able to do damage, unless if these bots can get the arena hazards to do the damage for them. So, regardless, I think this should be an awesome Redemption Rumble to kick off the two, and certainly love a battle between control bots, and we got three of them right here. So, I think we should go ahead and get to this Rumble and determine who will be claiming spot number 7 into next episode's semifinal. Let's go ahead and get to the fight. Time for the flip-off Rumble to begin. Gruff and Mastiff going after each other early. Mastiff did a little flip itself into the air. Gruff with a mistimed lift, same thing with Mastiff. And now Gruff taking Monster into the corner. And now Gruff getting that flamethrower involved. I think the flamethrower could be a big dictator of the fight, at least in my opinion, if they could get those involved and potentially cook the other two robots. Mastiff is upended, and they take a huge flip from Monster. Definitely the biggest moment of the match so far, at least. And now Gruff, they now have a clamp on Mastiff, and they're getting those flamethrowers involved. That certainly is a huge thing for Gruff right there. And now Gruff takes a flip from Monster, however they self-right pretty easily. One thing that is worth mentioning is Monster doesn't do the best while upside down. They are flipped right now. They were able to self-right right there, but there have been cases in this channel where Monster has struggled a lot to self-right. And I think that's happening right now. Gruff looks like they're going in for a clamp, and they've taken Monster into the corner. They are torching that robot with those flamethrowers, while Mastiff just floundering around kind of. Looks like they're trying to get upright here. They can drive well in that position, but that flipper is not effective while in that position. It's more like a front hinge flipper now. Now Gruff going after Mastiff, and they help Mastiff right themselves. Monster is stuck in the corner, unable to self-right, and now we got all three robots in the corner here. So, both bots trying to help Monster out, and Monster is back up now, and they land a nice flip on Gruff. So, Gruff now back up, and under the fury of both flipper bots now, some nice shots from both flipper bots there. So, a little over a minute left to go in this fight. I gotta imagine Gruff is probably on top, because I think Gruff has been dictating the pace of the fight better than the other two. Monster is stuck upside down once again. Mastiff trying to help Monster out, and they do so. But now Gruff flips Monster over once again. Monster just can't get a break from being flipped over like this. What a fight this has been. What a flip-off this has been between three lifter bots here. The three control bots. And Mastiff trying to help Monster out again, and now under the fury of Gruff. So, 30 seconds left to go in this match. It's been a pretty close fight so far. And, well, I don't know about that close, but I'd say Gruff is winning. I think Mastiff and Monster need to make a statement here in these last 30 seconds. Gruff not showing movement. Well, now they're back up. I wonder if their drive temporarily died or something, because we had a countdown going on Gruff. So, wonder if Gruff is suffering from some drive problems. However, 10 seconds left to go in this fight. It is looking like we are going to have a judge's decision in this first Redemption Rumble. And what a fight it was. Whoa, what a big lift from Gruff. So yeah, awesome fight between these robots. We got a flip-off for this first Redemption Rumble, and it certainly looked pretty nice. So, Gruff, I think, dictated the pace of most of this fight, and also got some amazing clamps in, like that right there on Mastiff. Then they got one where they were able to torch Monster as well. However, don't count Monster and Mastiff out. Both of them got some amazing flip attempts, and that certainly dictated the pace of the fight as well. So they should definitely be getting quite a few points as well. So yeah, definitely a lot to take into account here. A lot of action from all three of these robots. Lots of potential to go around. I'm very excited to hear what the judges had to say about this one. And let's go ahead and find out who will be joining this current semi-finalists. So the judge's decision is in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Gruff. So yeah, I probably agree with that judge's decision, because I think Gruff did control most of the fight, even though Monster and Massive did get quite a few good flips in of their own in this match. We'll see Gruff in the semi-final. It was an awesome win by them here in this Redemption Rumble. And we sadly have to say goodbye to Monster and Mastiff. We're both now out of the competition, but hopefully we'll get to see them both back once again for another bonus fight and more fun content on this channel. Once again, another awesome fight. I think we should move on to Redemption Rumble number 2. So for our second Redemption Rumble of the night and our final matchup of the night, we have a battle between Dragon King, Ghostly Float, and Ribot. A spinner battle. I don't know if I'd count it a spinner rumble exactly, just because Dragon King is saws, and I don't know if saws really count as spinners, but anyway, as for these three robots, we got Dragon King, who was very quickly dismantled by Daedalus in their opening round matchup. Then we got Ghostly Float, who struggled to get that full body spinner going and couldn't really get bites in and couldn't get really much damage in with them in that fight with Double Jeopardy, resulting in them losing that judge's decision. And then we got Ribot, who was dismantled by Ripperoni in tonight's leadoff fight. So yeah, a lot to come into play here. I suspect we're going to see a lot of parts flying, but what configuration is Ribot going? Because we know Ribot is a Swiss Army robot. They could choose between a vertical spinner and undercutter. So I actually got confirmation recently in the pits that Ribot is going to be debuting the undercutter for this Rumble. They're going to be using the undercutter, which allows them for more control and allows them to still dish out quite a bit of damage with that horizontal spinner. We'll see how all that works out for them in this match. And yeah, because Dragon King and Ghostly Float are definitely capable of doing damage of their own, as we've seen quite a few times in this channel. So yeah, anyway, this should be a fun Rumble. We got 3 destructive spinners about to enter the arena together, and I think this is going to really, and I think whoever wins this one, certainly not going to be an easy one, because whoever wins this one's probably going to have a bit of a repair job to do before their first round semifinal matchup. Should be an awesome fight. I think we should go ahead and get right to it and find out who will be claiming the final spot into next episode's semifinal. Let's go ahead and get to the match. Time for the Spinner Rumble to begin. Ribot charging in with the undercard. Dragon King going after Ghostly Float, and Ribot upended early by Ghostly Float. Ghostly Float's full body spinner has some cone-like features on it, and Ribot got caught up there on it. Now Ribot going weapon on weapon with Ghostly Float. Not sure if that's wise, but there it might have been wise, because there went a whole entire layer of that full body spinner. Ribot now inverted, and a huge weapon on weapon shot destroys one of the saws on Dragon King. So now we got some weapon on weapon action from all 3 of these robots so far. Ribot is still inverted as they were before, and now Ghostly Float going after Ribot, and Ribot takes off one of the antennas, and there goes the other antenna. That is huge. It's just Ghostly Float relies on those antennas for directional indicators, and the fact that Ribot removed both of those could make it a lot harder for Ghostly Float. However, Dragon King did just lose one of those treads. Those exposed treads have always been a vulnerability of theirs, and Ribot just removed an entire set. Ghostly Float now is Ghostly Float floundering right now. Dragon King with only one tread left, and Ribot inverted once again now. Quite a lot of action here so far in the first minute of this match, in the first half of this fight. That's probably a better way of saying it. So, some more weapon-on-weapon action here. Ribot a little less effective. Like, I don't know how they're going to be able to take on Ghostly Float with them being inverted. Now they're right side up, and that's huge for Ribot. And Ghostly Float spun out of control like that. Crazy how much Ghostly Float has been impacted without that piece of the full body spinner and without those directional indicators. Huge shot there that sends Ribot flying. Another havoc right there. Ribot is upside down once again. So a little over a minute left to go, and Ribot taking off that other saw. Dragon King is now weaponless here for the rest of this fight. Ribot trying to take on Ghostly Float, but I think the horizontal spinner is up too high. And Dragon King just lost the rest of that tread. So now Dragon King unable to move. I think we're going to see a countdown soon. Less than a minute to go. I think this fight is now between Ghostly Float and Ribot. And both bots are floundering right now. Ribot hasn't taken a lot of damage, but they're inverted right now. And this rope and seems their blade is just way too high to be able to do any damage to Ghostly Float. Whereas Ghostly Float has been struggling without those directional indicators. And Ribot trying to come in with an attack, but they end up just climbing the front and haven't been able to make any touches towards Ghostly Float with their undercutter. Less than 10 seconds to go. It is looking like this spinner rumble is going to end in a judge's decision. And what a fight it was between these two spinner bots. Well, really all three spinner bots. It's just Ribot and Ghostly Float are going to be the only two that are going to be considered for the judge's decision here, since Dragon King was tied out. So early on, we got lots of action from all three weapons, but then I think Ribot caused a lot of the damage to Ghostly Float, taking out a layer of that spinner. Also did quite a bit to Dragon King as well. Removed those saws. Both bots kind of went after those treads. Ghostly Float really struggled with control because they lost those directional indicators thanks to Ribot's undercutter, which was huge. Both bots did a lot of tread damage to Dragon King. Both of them, probably about 50% each, managed to lead to the defeat of Dragon King. And then, yeah, both bots were floundering kind of at the end here. How are the judges going to score this? Let's find out. So the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Ribot. So yeah, between Ghostly Float and Ribot, I would probably agree that I think Ribot did win that fight, because while I think Ghostly Float and Ribot both did relatively equivalent amount of damage between the two of them, I think Ribot had a lot more control. They took a lot less damage in this match, and certainly Ghostly Float losing those directional indicators really hinted their ability to be aggressive, and just hindered their ability to be aggressive and control the fight. Great fight between those three robots, lots of damage caused there. We'll see Ribot in the semifinals, and sadly we have to say goodbye to Ghostly Float and Dragon King. We thank them for all the entertaining fights they have given us so far this season, and hopefully we'll see some of them in there for a bonus fight. So, yeah, that'll do it for this, so let's go ahead and quick review. So yeah, that's going to do it for the fights content of this one. We started out with 12 robots, and now 8 robots remain. So, these 8 robots next time are going to fight it out bracket style in order to claim a spot in the grand final. Let's go ahead and quick take a look at the bracket for next week's episode. And here is the bracket. So at the top left, we'll have a matchup between Daedalus and Ribot. Daedalus looked very good in their opening round matchup against Dragon King. Ribot might have had to go to the Redemption Rumbles, as we saw in that last Rumble. But based on what we saw in that last Rumble, they looked very solid in that. So I bet Ribot's going to give Daedalus a serious challenge. Then right down below, we'll have a battle between Gigabyte and Blue. That should be a fun matchup between two robots who had a very good night in this episode. Then on the right side, we got a rematch between two BattleBots contenders from when they fought in BattleBots. We'll see Ripperoni take on Gruff. Find out if Gruff's durability is enough to be able to tank the shots from Ripperoni's vertical spinner. Then down below, we'll have a matchup between the two more unusual robots in this group, the two unique ones of the bunch. We have Star Child and Double Jeopardy. Those two will face off in the first round in the next episode. So yeah, lots of fun fights coming, and quite a few of these robots made a major statement for themselves. So winning these three matchups in order to get that grand final spot is not going to be easy. Not like it's been any easier for any of the other robots in any of these other groups. So yeah, so whoever wins this one is going to earn it for sure. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. So thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that subscribe button and be sure to tune in for next episode. Next time we'll determine this bracket and determine who's going to be claiming the next spot in this season's grand final. So yeah, lots of fun is on the way. So thanks for watching once again, and I will see you all next. Have a good rest of your day, everybody. Thanks for watching.